Welcome to this tutorial where we will be looking at three-point lighting in both the real world and in a 3D modeling world through the application Maya. We will be looking at the use of Maya and its practical use in setting up lighting. Maya provides a virtual but very realistic way of setting up and understanding lighting, particularly this three-point lighting system. As we get started, we will be importing this subject that I have selected. We will begin with the perspective view, and this is what is defaulted to when Maya is first open. We'll explain how to switch to the other views here in just a moment, specifically the camera view. The next step will be to select the light from the drop-down and get it in place. We'll want to go ahead and begin to move the light just like we would with the three-point lighting setup in mind. We'll have the camera and the subject along the axis, and if you would like to examine this further, I have included a link for setting up a three-point lighting system in a real-world situation. We'll want to go ahead and place our first light at about 45 degrees from the subject, and then at an angle of 45 degrees directed at the object or the subject. So once I have the first light, what I'll simply do is I will duplicate the other two lights just simply from it. It makes it just a little bit easier to not have to start all over again when replacing it. And then we'll want to go ahead and do the same thing with both of our other two lights to create the three-point light. Then we'll want to go ahead and determine the key light or the brightest light in the three-point setup. And then the fill light, which will accompany it on the opposite side. And then we will want to establish the backlight, which will create that separation of the subject from the background. So now we see that all three lights are in place. It's time to go ahead and place the camera. So from the create drop down, we're going to go ahead and we'll select camera and we'll get that set up. And then at this point, we can see that in Maya, there's a very realistic setup with both our lighting and our camera. And it gives us a very, even though it's virtual, a very real three-dimensional look and understanding of how the lighting setup works. So then to understand turning on and off the lights in Maya, we'll want to go ahead and keep in mind the keys 6 and 7. The 7 key will turn on the lights when we're first starting, and then key 6 will go ahead and turn off the lights when we're not needing them. So once the camera and the lighting are in place, it's just a matter of kind of exploring at this point and kind of tweaking it to where you get the look of the lighting that you want for the subject. And this is where there is just a wide array of options. So there are just a couple of tools that we'll want to keep in mind in making minor adjustments to the lighting at this point. One will be the location of the lighting. You can grab the arrows and adjust it accordingly to make sure that the lighting is falling where you want it. Also, there is the setting where you can go ahead and you can change the rotation or the angle at which the lighting is hitting the subject as well. And these are both very useful tools in kind of finessing it and making the lighting look as even as possible. And then finally, when you have the lighting in the position that you want and at the angle, you can make minor adjustments such as the drop off and the intensity of it. And this is where you can really make those final decisions as far as which light will be designated as the key light and which will be the fill light. So through the initial setup, I like to keep everything in the perspective view. I want to come back and mention how to go ahead and switch over into the camera view just to kind of make those last final detailed touches to the lighting as it hits our subject. And if you go up to the panels drop down, you can go ahead and you can switch over to the camera view. So when I go to the camera view, it gives me the opportunity to make the final adjustments to the lighting, such as the drop off and the direction and the intensity of the lighting to make those final adjustments. This is where the exploration is kind of limitless. And this is where the true value of Maya and the opportunity to learn lighting is the most effective. There are multiple ways that you can make adjustments to your lighting and to your subject. You can change the color of the lighting inside Maya. You can also change the intensity of it. How you want to light it is also significant. So if you're looking for more of a high key look, or if you want to make it low key and very moody, the options are pretty much unlimited inside Maya. And for this final, we'll make it a little bit more of a dramatic look, as we'll go kind of more to a low-key look. Almost, we'll set it up as a horror kind of looking lighting. So hopefully through this tutorial, you have not only learned the process of setting up a 3-point lighting in a virtual landscape such as Maya, but also just the unlimited and the very practical value in understanding lighting through this software.